So our boy Fabio Wardley has become WBA #1 contender. And what that means is that beyond us being ecstatic for him, as you know, FW loves FW, that gigantic, articulate Don from Ipswich who just dented Fraser Clark's head, is like he is a true talent. I can't speak highly enough of him. From before English title, he was on the pod, and he has something special about him. He has epic punch power. He's athletic. He seems to just be so dedicated to the game, and he really is a testament to British heavyweights everywhere. But for anyone who doesn't know how the WBA work, let alone their rankings, Daddy's going to explain it a little bit for you because I love you all dearly. So the WBA have their champion, which is Alexander Usyk, the man. Arguably, one of the greatest heavyweights that we've seen for a very long time. And then this is where they get a little bit sketchy because for quite a while, they've scrapped it now, I believe. But the WBA has multiple different world champions under their guise. And obviously it's a fee thing. And if you click on the tag up there somewhere around here, I'm not even sure where it'll be there. We will have the link to the belts episode, which goes through every single one of the belts, what they mean, what their fee structure is, etc., etc. If you're a bit of a nerd and an anorak, probably worth a little bit of a watch. Anyway, so the WBA has their world champion, Alexander Usyk, the man. Then beneath it, they have a regular champion, which is Kubrat Pulev. Now, Kubrat Pulev, as you know, probably may or may not remember, he got stopped by AJ. I think he got stopped by Klitschko. He got beat by Del Boy very recently. But you know what? He is a massive Bulgarian barbarian. He's still a very experienced, just animal. But as he is the regular champion, that would hold him in a much more favourable spot for the shot against Usyk. But honestly, like, no one wants to see that fight. Obviously, no one would want to see that fight. So then you go down into the rankings. So to become mandatory, the WBA would put, and I've got the list there, the WBA would put together the top 2 highest ranked available contenders. And if we look at the list, number 1 is Fabio Wardley. Number 2 is Martin Bakole. Eek. Number 3 is Michael Hunter. So, as Martin Bakole is quite clearly going down the IBF route, and he's on the February 22nd Riyadh card season, and he is going for Dan Dubois' belt, that means that they would probably want to make Fabio Wardley versus Michael Hunter. Now, Michael Hunter is an incredibly skilled, he's a boxer's boxer, right? He's not that... he's not as famous as he should be. He's not as known as he should be, right? He stopped Bakole. And from that in itself, you have the marketing built in. So if you make Fabs versus Hunter, which is a tough fight, right? But then we've also got questions about how much does Hunter actually want it, right? He made good money when he was with Matchroom. He hasn't really been that active. He doesn't bang the drum. Like, for someone as ranked and as skilled as he is, he should very much so be at least on the Bakole kind of who needs them club bogeyman, like banging on the drum. Like, I know he has done that before and got nowhere with it. However, you don't stop that. Can't stop, won't stop. You know what I'm saying? P-dids. Anyway, so if they made Fabs versus Michael Hunter, immediately you have a really good narrative that obviously Hunter beat Bakole, who is the one that everyone says is the terrifying man of the division. But then from the perspective of as a Fabs fan, I would like to see him do the Pulev fight. I think him versus Pulev, I think he just trucks Pulev. I think he goes to it. Like, Pulev's an old boy now. He's an old warhorse. But Pulev is still dangerous. He's still a name. He does hold the regular title that he won from Carr, I think, quite recently. And then that in itself holds a lot of stead. It wasn't that long ago that we saw Dan Dubois rolling around with that regular title like it was a thing. Why can't Fabs do that? So if we had Fabs versus Pulev, I fancy Fabs all day long on that one. I actually fancy Fabs against Hunter. But it's a much harder fight against someone who he's a lot trickier. He's a lot more mobile. And you know what? All I want to know is when we see the next time we got Fabio Wardley out, all I want to know is if it's going to be Pulev or they're going to have him versus Hunter for a final eliminator, which is a bit long. I hope Uncle Frank is getting straight on the phone and making the fight now between Pulev and Fabs. Hopefully on maybe the next big Riyadh season card, May, June, September, whatever. In and of itself, from the perspective of someone that's followed Fabio Wardley's career for quite a long time, like I'm genuinely pleased to see that he has now shunned the white collar stuff. He's shunned all of that nonsense, and it's actually spun now. Now it's become a positive narrative for him, and big respect. Like, rate, subscribe, let me know what you think. Who do you think Fabio Wardley should really be going up against? Do you think it's Pulev or do you think it's Hunter? Let's be real. It's Pulev.